Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant and maternal child health specialist and mother of 3. I have Nathan, who is 26, and my twins, Jess and Brandon, are 23, and all breastfed babes. And happy Breastfeeding Week, World Breastfeeding Week.
Yes, and I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder, and I have Jack, who's 15, Cicely, who's 12, and they were breastfed for a long time. Well, beyond toddlerhood, I guess.
Yeah.
We would say. And happy World Breastfeeding Week. Today we're going to be talking to Cicely Taylor from Engagement Therapy and Day Spa. But first, we are on Patreon, and we would love for you to join us on Patreon, where we house our Revolution Parenting podcast that we created to bring more compassionate adults into the world. We talk about discipline, boundaries, attachment parenting, and so much more. And we have 2 tiers. So visit the top link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and see which of those tiers looks best to you. We are also still hosting our ongoing giveaway for people who leave reviews around the internet, like on iTunes or on Spotify. And if you take a screenshot of your review, send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com. We'll send you a goodie bag of Thank You for Nursing in Public cards and podcast stickers. Also, if you have a breastfeeding photo that you wouldn't mind me sharing on social media, you can send that along to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll send you a goodie bag for that as well. And Dianne has our review of the week.
I do. And it comes from somebody who shared our podcast with her husband. My favorite episode is the mental load of breastfeeding. I even shared with my husband, you put perfectly into words what I wish I can share with my husband, and it helped us tremendously. So I am so glad we were able to help you with that. And we've had a lot of people who said that they shared it with their partners. And and partners that actually wrote in and said that they listened for their wife or whatever. So it is really, we're open to everybody here. So
information is information, right? Yeah.
Information is information. And if we can give you the info and it's helpful, then we've done our job. So we are so glad that was helpful for you and your husband.
Yes. And I
love that.
Yes, that's great. Thank you for that comment. And today is for all of the family members as well, because it's for everybody. And we're talking about self-care, the self-care of the whole family. And we are here with Cicely Taylor from Engagement Therapy and Day Spa in Detroit. And let's get to it.
All right.
Welcome, Cicely, to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Can you start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your business, anything you want to share?
Absolutely. So I am the owner and founder of Engagement Therapy and Day Spa, which initially started off as a mobile spa. And we went ahead and kind of pivoted that a little bit. So now we do cancer care boxes and pregnancy subscription boxes, which is in honor of my late father, who suffered from esophageal cancer, and also my youngest sister, who was going through, my niece was born premature. So in that process, and being a family member and making sure that I could care for them and support them in the best way possible, I was researching and trying to find something. And what I was looking for, I didn't find. And that's basically true support, not your everyday, I'm going to get you a cup or something that just gives you words of encouragement, but something that actually provides you with that support. So that's what we do. We curate boxes based on where you are in your journey, and whatever that looks like for pregnancy as well as for cancer. And we provide you with the essential things to go through those processes. We also follow up with you to see how you're doing, if there's any further support that we can provide you. So that's kind of basically what ETDS Detroit is.
That's amazing. I'm sure. So you and I met in Detroit.
Yes.
You're located in Detroit.
I am located in Detroit. Yes, we met at the Babies and Bumps event, I think.
Yeah, and Dianne, I'm from Chicago and Dianne's from Rochester, but she and I met up in Detroit to do the Babies and Bumps, and you were next to us.
Yes.
And I was drawn into the stuff on your table, and then we started talking, and I'm sure you told me about the cancer boxes, but I'm when you just said it right now, I was like, oh my, I don't remember that. And that's really wonderful. Like both of my parents have been affected by cancer. They both have survived. And I'm sorry for your loss. It sounds like your dad didn't survive.
He didn't, but it's okay. I appreciate that.
But that's really amazing. I honestly, when they were going through that, I wanted to like be there for them and support them, but I never thought about like what your service provides, like how that could be just more support.
It's hard. Because I was the caregiver. So my mother and I were both the primary caregivers for my dad. And that's another reason we want to make sure that caregivers understand that they are not alone either. It's a hard journey to go through for the patient, but it's also a hard journey for the caregiver. Because you have to go through the mood swings, and then you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And most times that doesn't happen. Even when it has our pregnancy, mom is carrying something so valuable and precious, and everyone is just kind of oohing and awing over her because she's carrying this wonderful bundle, right? Mm-hmm. But they're worried about the baby and not necessarily her. And that's what we want to make sure is identified, that she is still a person that is the vessel for something that's going to come out amazing, but she still has to be nurtured as well. So in that, we just want to make sure that she is seen as an individual herself and not just as the mom carrying this wonderful, beautiful bundle of joy. That is really important for us.
Yeah. And that just becomes so evident once you give birth and you're just nobody's looking at you anymore. Mm-hmm. And you're going through all of this like identity changes and all these body changes. And you just went through like either a major surgery or a major delivery. Could have been, mine was 30 hours in the hospital.
Yes.
And then it's just like, oh, the baby. Oh my God, the baby. Oh my God, we have to check the baby. And how many times does this freaking doctor come in and it's like, we have to check the baby. And I remember saying, there was just somebody here who checked the baby. And he was like, well, I have to check the baby. And I'm like, the baby can't sleep. I mean, like, oh my God, the baby is like just trying to like catch some Z's. And like, they're just like coming in here poking and prodding. Nobody ever. All they said to me was, did you take your ibuprofen? Which I appreciate, because I was like, I felt okay at one point and I was like, I don't need it. And then the nurse, like the one nurse who was really like attentive and great with me, she came in and she was like, don't turn that down. Take it. Even if you feel okay, take it so that you can stay on top of the pain and all of this. And that was like really great advice. But that was the only time anybody ever wondered how I was. And I had an episiotomy. It was my first time. I know. I was my first baby. And like, we talk about this on the podcast a lot, that you just disappear.
Yes. And so we try to make sure that doesn't happen. Even we include dad so that he doesn't feel isolated. We include him in a way to where he is helping you, but he also feels included in the pregnancy process. So no one is left out. We even do it for the little, if you guys have a pup or, so we try to make sure that everyone feels included in the process. And even if there is going to be a big sister or a big brother, that they have something too, because they're going to start to feel like they're getting left out, and that it's not, it's no longer about them, when it's like, it's just a new bundle of joy that's coming. So you are still as important as the new baby, but the attention kind of gets taken away. So we try to make sure that it's really family oriented and that no one feels left out or left behind. That is one of the most important things that we do. And just making sure that self-identity is always seen. I think as women, we have the tendency to be so nurturing, and we just need to make sure everyone else around us is okay, that we completely forget about ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then at some point we're looking around and we're like, I have no idea who I am at this point.
Yes. Absolutely.
I used to be this person that never wore, leggings all the time. And now you're looking around and you're like, I can't even fit in a pair of jeans because all I've been wearing is leggings. So it's just those things, and making sure that it's okay to not be okay. That is actually one of our slogans as well. Because every day is not going to be rainbows and sunshine, especially if you're going through cancer, if you're having pregnancy that may be a little harder than others. These are things that you need to know, that it's okay to not be okay, and to just have a conversation with somebody to let them know that you're not okay. And sometimes it's easier to do that with people you don't know or that aren't that close to you, so that you don't feel like you're being judged or, you're not doing enough.
That's a really good point. I think it would be easier to say it to somebody who you don't know so well.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to take care of this other random person. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just so much easier. And I think people do that. Like, we also talk a lot about how, like, postpartum, you go to the doctor and they'll give you like this piece of paper, like how are you feeling? How depressed are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever? Mm-hmm. And like, people can write all these things and there's never any follow-up. And people might be in the doctor's office like, well, I can just be honest. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say this, it doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want here. But then no one follows up.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of some of the things that I've experienced with friends. And I can't say that I experienced it with my sister, because she was very silent and trying to deal. Mm-hmm. So, but you can tell from her body language and from different things that it was hard. Right. So there was a period that is just like, either if they're not talking at all, or they're giving you the one cues. And I definitely agree with you in regards to the follow-up. I feel like doctors come in, they do the pricking and the prodding, they ask the questions, but they don't say anything. The nurses try to kind of be the filler for that void, but there's only so much that they can do, because once you leave out of the doctor's office, they're not going to follow up with you either.
Yeah, right.
So that is a wonderful point. I didn't look at it from that aspect in regards to the postpartum. I did look at it to say, I want you to identify it. And I think that's kind of what the doctors do, but they, like you said, they don't do any follow-up. But we follow up to make sure that, again, it's okay to not be okay, but how do we get past this point so that you can get to the other side? And you don't have to sit in it for so long, because that can just become a trickle-down effect to where you really are having a mental episode, and you may need further assistance, but you may be scared to do that, or you don't really know what that looks like. So you may feel that you may be judged and all of these things. And I just feel like we've created, or society has created this, I don't even know what to call it, but they've created this world to where everything has to look a certain way. And if it doesn't look that way, then it's wrong. And I just don't want anyone to feel like that. There is no one size fits all for us as women. We're all made differently. Our bodies are different. Some people may be able to do breastfeeding. Some people may not be able to do breastfeeding, but that doesn't make you less than a mother, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that is something that I heard you guys talking about in one of your podcasts. And just the importance of understanding that just because your body may not be able to do it now, you may be able to do it later, but just give yourself the grace and the patience to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were talking about your sister, and like, she wasn't talking, because it's really hard for people to do that, to say what's wrong. But also, like, when you just have a baby, especially if it's your first, you might not even know. You don't even know, like, because you know your sister, and you're like, I know that she's not acting like she normally does. I can tell that something's wrong or something. But for somebody who, like, I look back at when I just had a baby, I was a complete mess, but I didn't know how to put that into words.
Yes.
I'd never been through anything like that before. And I can say now I had tons of postpartum anxiety, which tracks to my whole adult life, and a lot of like intrusive thoughts and just a lot of struggles that I don't even know if I knew I was struggling. I think I just was like, oh, I guess this is how it is.
I think most people just think that this is how it is.
Yeah, because you've never done it before. So how are you supposed to know? And nobody talks about it.
Yep. And so that's another part of what our boxes do. So we send out a physical box for 1 month. And then the following month, you'll get, depending on whatever your subscription is, it goes, 1 month you'll get a physical box, the next month you'll get a digital box, so on and so forth. But inside of your digital box, what we provide you with is 4 weeks of information on what you should be eating, affirmations, what you should be looking for, even things in regards to how to figure out your birthing plan, your rights, even as a mother, in regards to your clinician. So making sure that your doctor is doing what you want, but also doing what you need.
Yeah.
Right. I find that so many times that's something no one knows either. You go to your doctor, your OBGYN, and depending on, their level of their volumes of patients, and their volume of being able to just be, have the empathy and be able to be one-on-one with their patients and slow down for a moment is crazy sometimes. They're in there for like 10, 15 minutes and then they're right back out the door. And you spend more time with the medical assistant than you do with the actual doctor. And sometimes then they'll just give you a pamphlet, right? And now you're supposed to go through this pamphlet and figure out all of these things. Or now they say, well, if you get yourself a what to expect when you're expecting book, but that still doesn't give you everything. And so that's why I created this box. I want you to feel all inclusive. You're going to get what you need from the beginning of your, from its inception all the way until 6 months into postpartum. So therefore, you know exactly what to expect. If there's something that you feel is unclear, if there's something that we may not have even known to put into the box, just put us a suggestion and we're more than willing to say, hey, that's not something we thought about, but let us look into that for you and we'll get back to you. So we are definitely all inclusive. We do the same thing with our cancer care boxes. It's about creating a community of family so that women can feel supported by not only us, but by each other, and be able to share these conversations, right? If it wasn't for your podcast, there's probably so many things that no one would know. So
this area is such a vastly empty land of information, and what's out there is usually so very wrong.
Yes. And just Googling it is not gonna solve the problem. Yes.
No. I mean, I always say this. I'm like, if you need to know who won the World Series in 1962, go ahead and Google it. But don't try to Google your personal needs. We're going to get those craziest answers.
Yes.
One of the things that struck me about, because when I was at your table, I was like, I had my mind all about bras, and I saw these bras and I was like, ooh, these bras. And I said, where do you get your stuff? And you were like, I pick it out. Like I buy it and I pick it out and I do this. And that was when I started to understand, like, you're learning about where people are in their journey, whatever. And then you are literally tailoring this to that, whatever they're going through and whatever stage they're at.
Yes, we curate everything. So if you're at your 6-month mark, we're going to provide you with everything that you need at your 6-month mark. We just created 3 new boxes that are not a part of our subscription. That can be a one-time only purchase that does a baby shower box. That is just for mom. So, generally you have your baby shower box and it has or you have a baby shower and everything is about the baby. Nothing is about mom.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like a bottle of vodka.
Right.
Like, here, you can enjoy this once you have your baby. It's like, oh my God.
But we've changed that narrative to where it is about you. So we do put something in there that has to do with the baby, but the bulk of the box is about mom. And what are you going to need either during that time frame, during the rest of maybe, because generally people have their baby showers maybe a month and a half, 2 months prior to to their delivery. So we provide what they're going to need in that time frame and after. And then we have a inpatient antepartum box. So if mom has to stay in the hospital, we have a box just for that. So that she's not sitting and feeling like she's alone by herself or really suffering and not having that anxiety just constantly there. We have something for that. So there's a number of different things that we try to make sure that we accommodate, especially when it comes to the bras. We have the labor and delivery gowns. We have the robes. We have the socks. Everything that she's going to need. I literally have taken the time to go step by step of what does that look like. Even the teeth after she's done. Your pillows are very important. And then we just have one box that is literally for a friend, or you can even purchase it for yourself if you're wanting something to be relaxed when you go for labor and delivery. We have a labor and delivery box. So she'll have everything in there while she's sitting in the hospital and feel more comfortable. Because my sister, I've never been a mother. I haven't had that privilege as of yet. But in going through it with all of my friends and my sister, they hated the gowns. That was one thing that they kept saying to me. I hate the gowns. I hate the way it feels. It's so drafty. Like, there are so many different things. So for every box that I have, even the cancer care boxes, we have found something to make you comfortable that is going to be okay by your nurses and your doctors, so it doesn't get in the way when you're in the hospital. So that was very important as well.
That is really important. And those, you don't have to be a parent to know those gowns are insane.
Yes.
It's like, give me this gown and then this diaper. Yeah. And there's nothing that makes you feel more ridiculous. And now you're trying to deal with a new baby. Oh my God.
And you're trying to walk to the bathroom in case you have to have your IV. There's so many things. But yes,
there's so many endless.
Yes, we've mapped those out so that it doesn't. We've taken in consideration everything. If there's something that we miss, which is always possible, I just want our customers to let us know that this is something that they're looking for that we may have missed. We're always open to making things better for our customers.
Well, I love that you said, because you said before that you want to know if they have like toddlers or older children, other children in the house, and how they need attention too. And when I first had I had my second son, obviously, and I had a friend come over and she wanted to bring, she brought stuff. She wanted to bring stuff. And she brought, like, this was, I was like, this is a person who has been here, because she brought like all the perfect things. She brought like one-handed food, bags of chips, and then she brought like all these toys for my toddler. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was so genius. It was like something I wouldn't have thought of, because nobody else was doing that. People were bringing food over, complicated food too. Like, they got to get all this messy food on a plate, and like it's just like it wasn't very convenient. And so then you have this person come over and she just like knew. She was like, I've been here. I know exactly what you need. And it was so great. But even until I met you, when you said that you had boxes for dads, I was like, oh yeah, Dad. I was like, yeah, because we're so much like, you need to help I mean, you know, the mom is so overlooked that it's like you just come in hard. Like, we need to pay attention to this person, and we do. But like, dad needs attention too. And I had a friend who I never really even thought about this, but he had postpartum depression.
Yes, and
which
so
is
many men are
absolutely possible.
It is, and that's something that we cover as well, because so many people don't believe that men can go through postpartum, and they can.
Yeah.
And it looks different
Yeah.
for everyone, but most of the time it is, for them, it's a financial, I'm taking care of so many different people. How does this look? And then it sometimes is, they don't know how to switch from, I'm used to getting so much attention from, you know, my spouse, and now I can't get that attention. What do I do? And she's not ignoring you. She's just, I'm catering to the baby at this point. And I think a lot of times, and this is something that I am looking into kind of creating, which is, how do you combine that to where there is an understanding that, hey, I have to have time for the baby. I have to have time for my spouse. I have to have time for myself. And how do I balance that out?
Yeah.
And most times that is not easy, because the baby by itself is hectic. So if you don't have time for yourself,
Right.
you're really not concerning yourself with your spouse. And it's not intentional. It's just, you haven't even gotten used to allowing your body to completely heal, while this beautiful specimen needs to still take nutrients from you.
Yeah.
All of these things. So we do try to make sure that we cover the postpartum for dad. We cover the what to expect in regards to, these are terms that you need to know. How can you guys do things together during the pregnancy that will go outside of the pregnancy once the baby is here? So creating a specific date night. We do different, I'm going to start doing it. I have the content. I just haven't released it on what a baby moon would be. We haven't really had people talk about that in a long time, but it's still important, because it's about you guys. The baby is here, yes, but it's still about making sure that you maintain that connection. So there is a lot of inclusivity in regards to what we try to do to make sure that couples maintain a oneness for each other, and it maintains a partnership. And then that, again, everyone feels included, from the pup to the older or younger sister to the siblings to just everybody. And we just did a Father's Day box, and it covers different things. So you can do an upsell in regards to if he likes beer, or if he's a whiskey guy, or whatever that may look like. Each person is different. And then there is a book that you can choose in regards to, you know, understanding what's going on in that process, and then finding your own, I don't want to call it a lane, but finding your own way into being able to deliver different things for yourself as the dad, as well as what the mom needs. So we try to make sure that we covered all of those things, because it is very important. I think that family, just being able, because so many women that I've come across lately have done the IVS, being able to actually have a baby is the excitement. And then you kind of forget about everything else until you're almost at the end.
Yeah.
And then you're grabbing at straws to kind of figure it out. And that's understandable. I think that the full process is never thought about. And I think just because I do boxes and I have to think about it is probably why I do. But I think
we need somebody to think about it.
Right. But I think that is definitely a conversation that needs to be continued in regards to, hey, just make sure that you're kind of mapping out the whole process. And it's crazy to say, put it into an outline and do like a story, but that's literally what you should be doing, even if it's in a vision board fashion, to make sure that you're creating your full dynamic of what you think it should look like. Because generally we're all flying by the seat of our pants day to day, right? But if we have some
Absolutely.
kind of if we have some kind of a plan or a map, it's kind of easier to say, hey, I'm kind of out of out of my lane in regards to this. Let me get back on my path. And it's better to do that than to say, oh, wow, I have no clue. And now I'm just pulling at straws. And then you're frustrated. Now your spouse is frustrated. And you guys aren't even frustrated with each other, but you're taking it out on each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's the easiest thing, right? It's the closest person. It's the safe person.
Yes.
I mean, this is such a stressful time for relationships. And it's really a time where, I mean, it really does break a lot of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're also like, we're just relying on, we don't have so much of a village anymore. We don't have this big community. We're really just doing things on our own. Families are so isolated.
That is so true. And I don't understand how that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, right? I mean, I feel like this is how really capitalism kind of came in and was like, well, we can make more money if we,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just making all of these things just so individualized, and
yes,
let's market these things, and also let's get everybody to work so that nobody can be there for each other or even for themselves.
Yes. And then the level of independence, right?
Yeah.
We always want to be proud that we can be independent.
Yes.
And I, as a woman, I appreciate my independence, but I do recognize that I can't do everything by myself.
Yeah.
There's no way. So to create a support system, no matter what that looks like, to be able to be there for someone else as well as have someone there for you is very, very important. And I feel like we sometimes get so caught up in, I can do this by myself. And some women have chosen to be a single mom because that's what their goal was, to have a child. And I applaud them because I know that that can't be easy. And then some women's that wasn't their choice, but now that's where they are, right? And I also applaud them as well. But I feel like we need to make sure that they know that even in that independence, that there is someone there for them, because they are going to need, whether it's a shoulder to cry on, someone to say, hey, despite whatever you're going through right now, you're going to make it through, and not just have it sound like I'm blowing smoke, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I feel like we do just kind of say what comes first. And is there really sincerity in that? Or are we just saying what we know to say? And I just want to make sure that when we say it, there's always sincerity, because we understand completely and wholeheartedly of what that looks like. I had to end up quitting my job to be able to help my mom take care of my dad. And that was hard. That was really, really hard to say, hey, I'm just going to put my life on hold. But it was my dad. I was a girl, so it was going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, families often don't have a choice. It would be great if we all had endless amounts of money and we can have in-home daycare, in-home medical care, or all of this stuff that, the majority of people can't have and isn't offered, to kind of your regular income family.
We were grateful that the insurance that we have allow for that, but the only thing is my dad didn't want that.
Oh.
So he was not okay with random people coming to touch on him. There were so many things that he just was not okay with. And if that meant I got to keep him in the house longer, then, we have it. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I feel like you were saying, that adds the additional stress to that family.
Right.
Because if it's not something that was chosen and you have to do it, I feel like there's also kind of a resentment there because you
Mm-hmm.
don't, it's not something that you want to do, but you're feeling obligated to do. So that's also something that we kind of talk about in some of our blogs, is just understanding if you feel resentment and how to deplete that resentment. And it's being okay with letting your person know, I'm starting to build a resentment, and being able to identify that, because your care changes when you have a resentment. And I can identify that because I went through that process. It's like I literally gave up my whole life I didn't give it up. I put it on hold to be able to help. And if they start to get a little snarly, right? You're like, well, I don't understand why you're upset. I have all of these things going on too. So it's a lot. And so,
and all those, and it's all like, it's like inevitable that you're going to go through that because it's such a stressful time.
It is. And then you have your breakdown moments of, why is this happening? Right. But we have no compass on who's going to get what or why it's happening. We can only just work through the process.
And it was something that you said, I think it was in an email where you said, reframing self-care as a clinical necessity rather than a luxury.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that, because we do, and I would say especially as women, think that, whatever like we need, our needs, well, we were talking about this, that they're like secondary. And if I need, I remember feeling guilty for like taking a shower.
Oh, wow.
Like that was something that, like, that wasn't the priority. Like taking care, being there for my baby was the priority. Like if I needed to take a shower and he was fussy, well, like I couldn't just let him, like now, honest to God, I would put him in a bassinet and he would fuss for 10 minutes while I took a shower.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, but we can't, we don't think about,
you have to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't do that when you're a new parent, or you feel guilty for it. And, I can't take a shower because of this, or I can't spend a few minutes by myself because then my kids will feel bad or something. And how self-care is really not like, it's not like self-care is, we think of self-care like, oh, I'm going to go get my nails done, or I'm going to go, get a really expensive massage, when like self-care is really just taking care of your basic needs. And that is, like you said, a clinical necessity.
Yes. And that's where we start. Well, that's the first step of starting to lose yourself, when you just are like, everything is more important than me just making sure that I can take a hot shower and collect and gather my thoughts for 10 or 15 minutes, right? I'm not trying to think about anything. I'm not trying to have anyone ask me for anything. And out of a 24-hour day, if all you have is 15 minutes for yourself, you're deserving of those.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like, it's not an extra. It's not secondary. It's not frivolous. It's not, we can just put that on the back burner. Like I feel like my kid recently said this to me, something about, I'm not going to remember, so it's not going to be good. But he was like, like in an airplane, when you put your own mask on first. And I was like, yes, exactly. Exactly like that. Like you can't take care of other people until you've taken care of yourself.
Yes, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
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 And that's something that we forget often, because we're so used to probably pouring from an empty cup. We are
we
depleted.
do it so much.
We are completely depleted, but we're just like, but you still need something. Somebody else still needs something, so you're still trying.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just running on empty. I mean,
yes, absolutely. but we're trying to make sure here at ETS Detroit that is not the case, that you actually are seen.
So you have a physical space in Detroit.
No, we are completely online.
You are completely online. Okay.
Yes. But we do pop-ups at our, yes, thank you, as the healthcare facilities and any other of our partnerships that we have. And then we'll post those online on our socials and on our website to let you know where we're going to be, that month. So we may be like, we were in Chicago, and then we were at the Detroit. Yeah. So, and then we would have been in Atlanta, but something came up. So we definitely try to go and make sure that we're seen in other arenas and areas outside of Detroit.
And so it's a subscription box. So should people go to your website?
Yes, please go to etdsdetroit.com, and then there you'll be able to select whether you're looking for a cancer care box or for the pregnancy subscription boxes. And again, there are some one-time purchase for the pregnancy boxes, but there you'll be able to identify exactly what you want. You can find the DAB box there, and during the surveys, they'll ask if you want to include that special someone, your child or your pet or whatever. And then we just go from there. And then if we have any additional questions that we feel are relevant that may not have been asked, then we'll go ahead and do a follow-up email so that we can curate it to the best of our ability to meet your need.
That's fantastic. And that was ETDS Detroit?
Yes.
And then where are you on socials so people can follow you?
We are on all socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We are on LinkedIn and Pinterest.
And that is all at ETDS Detroit?
If you type that in, you'll find us. We just changed our handle names. So the handle names are different, but if you type in ETDS Detroit, you'll find us.
That's fantastic. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything I missed? Any links or anything that we should throw in there?
No, I think this was a wonderful time. I wish we had more, but I appreciate you for having me.
I appreciate you so much as well. And the information is valuable. And I'm so glad that we were able to have this really important conversation. And thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem. I look forward to possibly getting on here again.
Yes, we would love to have you back.
Thank you.